Hello YouTube, Scarson13 here, back again with another episode of Fastest Cars in TDU2, or in this case it might just be some of the slowest cars we've run today, because today, as you should have seen by the thumbnail and possibly by the title, we're going to be testing the three starter cars in the game, starting with the Ford Mustang 302 Sid Charismatic, whatever it's called. This 3-speed Ford Mustang with no rev meter inside, so I have no idea when to change gear. I'm going to guess about there. Oh, that's first gear. I've already messed up this one completely. These cars are not going to be fast, but this should give a good idea of which is the best starter car. And I reckon it's going to be either the Integrale or the Esprit. I reckon this is by far the slowest of the three. I don't have another gear, so I've got to leave it in third. This is ridiculous. And it doesn't handle very well either, although we're not going particularly fast, so it should be okay through these corners. Okay, I can push it a lot harder than this through the corners, I'm just scared about it. So, as usual, with the rules of this series, you guys should know this by now if you've been keeping up with the series. I do 3 runs with each car. You tend to see the first and the third run with each vehicle. And I take the fastest time out of 3, regardless of whether there's a mistake in that run or not. If there's a mistake, I consider it as that car is more difficult to drive, and therefore deserves the slower time. Oh my lord. Okay, this car just decided to drift on me, that's fine. I'm not going to bother changing down to second, it makes no difference in this vehicle. We should be able to take this section flat out in this car. Generally, the second run tends to be the fastest of the 3, purely because I'm not talking and can concentrate more on driving than talking to you guys. Right, let's see how fast this thing's going to go down a really long back straight here. I have a feeling we're going to top out and just sit at our max speed, which we've done, 108 miles an hour. All of the cars are unmodified in this series, and the time list can be found in the description below. It's really just going to be sat at 108 miles an hour. This thing is incredibly slow. No wonder Miami is so easy to beat. I don't really have much more to say at this point. It's really slow. We're already 2-minute mark. Pretty much every other car is finished by now. Every other car I've tested so far, that is. I mean, the only cars I can think of that will be slower than this are the 2CV and the Beetle. This really is incredibly slow. Right, and we have finished with a 2 minutes 20, I'm guessing 22.94. Okay, I'm going to jot that down on my phone, and I will see you guys for the third run. I'm going to go and do the second one off camera and bore myself half to death. So the second run there, finally complete. Saved off 4 seconds, 2 minutes 18.62. Just writing that down, because I forgot to do that before. Let's go for this car's third and final run. Seriously, this thing takes an age to get around this track. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the slowest car tested so far. That was my foot completely down. It actually accelerates fairly quickly. I assume that's because it is an ultra muscle car. It's probably quite powerful compared to the other cars in this class. It does accelerate fairly quickly. It just tops out 108 and stays there. It actually handles fairly nicely when you're going through these sort of higher speed corners. It's the slower speed ones where it really messes up. I'm actually slower than myself right now. Okay, sure. See if I got that any quicker than last time. That felt better. Whether it is or not is another question. No, that was actually slower. Good job. Right, around here. All I'm doing is losing time now. Try and bring it out nice and wide through here, ready for the next corner. It likes to kick the tail out around this corner for some reason. I'm not too sure as to why. Just leaving it in third. We can go flat out through this section. And now we've just got to hold it down for the entire straight, which is quite possibly one of the most boring things. Yeah, there's really nothing to say here, is there? It's a very uneventful car to drive, I'll give it that. It's easy, it's not too tricky, it does like take the tail out under heavy braking. And just be careful when accelerating from a low speed corner. Other than that, it's not difficult at all. Right, finally we can slow down for this next corner, which I believe I did a little bit better than last time out. That corner was definitely better. And that was a marginally slower, I believe, 2 minutes 18.63, and the top time was a 2:18.62. Virtually identical times wise. I made it all up at the end there. Either way, this car is incredibly slow, and it's keeping its 2 minutes 18.62 run from the second one. Let's return to the challenge editor and pick our second car. Now, I'm thinking for the second car, I'm going to be using the Lotus Esprit, purely because I feel like that is actually going to be faster than the Mustang, but not as fast as the Delta, in my opinion. That's the order I think these are going to go in. So let's take the Esprit out, and you guys are going to see the first paint job I made in this game, because this was my first car. Yes, it looks terrible, I know, leave me alone, I tried so hard. I have no idea how many miles this Esprit has on it already, because this was literally the first car in the game, but I don't think that makes a difference. I do drive this thing a fair amount, so I'm quite used to the way it handles. And we're already going quicker than the Mustang through here, already. And it already handles so much nicer as well. If it was a choice between this or the Mustang, this is definitely the one to go for. It's effortlessly quicker. I think the biggest factor with this Esprit is purely the fact that it has 2 more gears. You can accelerate quicker and have a higher top speed with this setup. Although we are losing time through there, although this car can be pushed a lot harder. We should be able to take this section flat out. If the Mustang can do it, so can this. We're definitely going a lot quicker through there. Oh, wrong gear. Oh, I messed that up royally. There's quite a lot of force feedback coming back through my wheel for some reason in this car. That's a bit unusual. It doesn't have a 6th gear, don't try it. I'm really tempted to go into 6th right now, but I know it doesn't have one, so... we can brake super late. Okay, we've just made up 7 seconds on the Mustang, just down that one straight. So on anything with straights, this is the car to go for. So we have shaved about 6.5 seconds off of the Mustang's final time there. With a 2 minutes 11.38, the Esprit is definitely the car to go for out of these two. I'll see you guys in a second for the third one. So that right there is a 2 minutes 8.04. That's a considerably quicker time from the Esprit. 2:08.04. That's just me writing that down there on my phone. Let's go for its third and final try. I think what we've discovered, along with this and the Shelby GT500 KR, that Mustangs are absolutely useless in TDU2, especially classic ones. Yeah, this is infinitely better than the Mustang as a starter car. And I've got that launch a little bit more down than last time. I want to bring it out a bit wider this time to get a better line into the next few corners. It does accelerate a little bit slower than the Mustang, but by the time, like, I'm already going quicker than the Mustang's top speed. So this is definitely a quicker car overall. Oh, we lost a bit of time on ourselves there. That's okay. We should be able to make that back up a bit later in the lap. half a second behind ourselves. Or nearly a whole second, in fact. Right, this is the tricky section. We got through that fairly well. This car I say is easier to drive than the Mustang as well. It doesn't have that same oversteer. Whereas the Mustang just wants to spin coming out of low speed corners. This just accelerates away quite neatly. We can do better through this section as well. I'm pretty certain of that. If we cut these corners a tiny bit, it can take the bumps. Now we see how fast it can go down straight, because I didn't take note of that last time. 125. Can we do 130? We can do 130. Are we going to max this out before the end? 135. 136. I think around 136, 137 is its limit. I am braking incredibly early for this corner. I can brake a lot later, but I just want to be safe. I'm quite happy with the 2 minutes 8:04 we've got in this car already. It could do better with a better driver. And that one there was a 2 minutes 10.41. Let's go on to our third and final car, which, as you all should know by now, if you've ever played TDU2, will be the Lancia Delta Integrale. And something quite interesting that I'd like you guys to tell me is, out of the 3 starter cars, which ones do you pick? Which one did you pick? Or do you tend to pick? I normally went for the Esprit. I think my first time playing for the game I went for the Mustang, just because I like Mustangs. I normally go for the Esprit though, because I like the way it drives. That was a really bad launch. Okay, this car doesn't feel as quick as the Esprit already, although I am getting the gear changes terribly bad. Got 2 minutes 8 to beat. That's a pretty tricky task for a car in C4 class. Although we're beating it. Even with some sloppy gear changes, we're quicker off the line. That's 4-wheel drive for you. Oh, just about made that corner. Okay, it's not quite as precise as the Esprit. The Esprit is definitely the handling car of the bunch. This appears to be the more speed-orientated car, and the Mustang's just worse in every way. Probably cheaper. I can't remember the pricings. Oh, this is close between this and the Esprit. Through this section, this is a little bit slower. Oh, it understeers. That's okay though, because it's full drive, it doesn't lose speed by going off-road. Which is a weird thing that TDU2 did, but quite useful in this case. Oh, the understeer kills it though. How fast are we going to get out of this? We got 235-ish out of the Esprit. This should be a bit quicker, I reckon. Not 235, geez, no, 135-ish. Okay, we're quicker than the Esprit. Not by much though. That appears to be us maxed out there, 137. So we're a mile per hour quicker than the Esprit. That's close. Gonna brake quite early here. Ooh, it kicked the back out there. That was weird. It's nowhere near as good through the corners. And with its first run being a 208.31, I reckon this thing can beat the Esprit with a good clean lap, but the Esprit is definitely easier to drive, although I would say slower overall. I'm going to go and do this car's second run, and I'll see you guys for the third and final run with this car. Oh, jeez, I coughed then. Sorry about that. Okay, so I pushed it way too hard. I was just ahead of myself by about 0.2 seconds at this point in the track. I pushed it way too hard, understeered off, and basically made this a dud run. So I'm going to go and do the third and final run now. It's a bit of a shame really, I shouldn't have been pushing it quite so hard. We need to focus more on this car's top speed and getting a good run into the straights rather than pushing it in the corners, because it does understeer a lot. I've got to get this launch down as well. which it just doesn't like to do for some reason. I think that was a better launch overall. I'm not too sure though. Right. Chuck it into there. Oh, that was definitely better. Although that corner was a bit naff. Right, this is where I accidentally chugged it off by pushing it too hard. Need to come out nice and wide. And it was this corner here that I just pushed it too hard into. I did some really bad gear changes and I accidentally put it into first and then second. That probably would have killed the car in real life. Oh god, the understeer is terrible. Okay, we got it through there quite quickly. The full sweep back again with this car has given me quite a bit of hassle. Can we beat that 208, or will the Esprit be the quickest of the starter cars? We're marginally quicker down this back straight, but marginally. And I reckon we're losing that advantage by being slower to get to that speed. Right, I need to brake later into here. I'm going to brake now. No, that was a bit of a mistake. Oh, it's okay. I saved it. Right, leave it in fourth. My foot is down completely. Just about took that corner flat. We're not quite going to beat the Esprit. It's an easier car to drive if you're careful with it. It's very understeery and it's very good down the straights. If you're on a long highway race, this is definitely the car to go for. So what I'm going to do right now is chuck the times up on the screen. And you'll see in the last place, we got the Ford Mustang 302 Chromatic thing. I'm just going to call it the 1969 Ford Mustang. With a 2 minutes 18.62, which is a rather disappointing time. Classic Mustangs in this game seem to be horrendous. Up next we have the Lotus Esprit with a 2 minutes 8.04. I didn't expect that to be quite so quick. I was thinking maybe 2:10 for that car. And in second place, I don't know why I got those the wrong way around, is the Lancia Delta Integrale with a 208.31, just behind it. Literally just behind it. The Delta is a lot more consistent. We got a 3.1 and a 3.6 out of it. The Esprit is marginally quicker but does require a slightly better driver. I would say, if you're picking a good all-round starter car, the Delta is probably the way to go. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Carson13. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike and let me know why. If you'd like to see more of this content, hit that subscribe button. It'll only help both of us. It'll let you see all this content a lot quicker the moment it comes out, and it's completely free and it does nothing but help me out. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and bye bye.